Hi, this is Yarning Around with Kathy and Jeannie, and sometimes Chris.
Hi.
Welcome. It's a wonderful Tuesday, bright, sunny day. It's just wonderful. I've really been having a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's really good. So, how about you guys? Are you all doing good? Staying in cool, out of the heat with your little knitting projects? That's great. So, we're here again. We're going to start talking about some knitting and maybe a little crocheting and a little spinning stuff. So, Jeannie, how have you been?
Good. Good.
Good?
I finished an object this week. We'll talk about it in a while.
Okay. Great.
I've been doing just working here and knitting a lot, and I'm embarking on a new venture, which is house sitting. And so
House sitting.
I had a last minute job this week. It was wonderful.
Okay.
I came back from the mountains where it's at least 10 degrees cooler.
Oh
my
yeah.
gosh, it's so hot.
It's a lot cooler up in the mountains.
Yeah, but that was fun.
Well, good.
I like that because I can knit, and I have an excuse to knit and watch TV.
And watch TV because you're watching the house.
That's right.
You're not
And
at your
dogs.
house. You don't have a lot of other stuff you got to do.
Right.
Yay.
Right.
Well, see, I've learned how to house sit my own house.
Yeah. Well, good. That's good.
There might be something I got to do, but if I really want to knit, I'm going to just go ahead and knit and forget about it. And eventually it gets done.
Yeah, exactly.
The little house elves come out at night. Not really. But I think there might be. So I go to bed and hope that the little house elves will come out.
Yeah.
But I don't know if
stuff
they do.
to eat. Then they.
Yes, well, I do. I give them milk and honey.
Oh, okay.
Yep, because they like that. So what have you been working on while you've been sitting there watching the house? And
I finished, this is a shop sample.
Ooh, okay.
And I finished it. It is, I still need to block it.
Okay.
Because it's got to be blocked before it's going to really show off the yarn.
What it's doing.
But
Okay.
we have summer yarns in right now.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that I wanted to do was knit a sample in this linen. This is
nice.
Lang Canapa linen.
Okay.
It is beautiful. It's so pretty.
That is pretty.
Yeah.
I like that color.
And it's 100% true hemp. Sorry.
Oh, it's hemp.
It's hemp. I beg your pardon. It's
hemp
not linen.
is even better.
Yeah. I have always loved hemp clothing.
Right.
And so I really wanted to try this. And it's pretty cool. So
Nice.
I didn't knit this color. I didn't knit this color, which is gorgeous. Look at these. So
Those
pretty.
are beautiful colors, yes. I agree. So subtle.
But I knitted this color.
Knitted that color.
And I really like this color. It is number 8401.
8401. Okay.
And it's this really rich coppery rust color.
Ooh, I like that.
And
Do you need
I-
help holding it up?
Yes.
Okay.
I wanted to make something different and interesting and not, I couldn't make a whole sweater. But
Right.
what this is, actually, if we turn it this way,
This way? Okay.
vertically. So hold that there.
Hold this here?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
You show me what you want me to hold.
and maybe we can hold it out that way and put it in front of my shirt. Okay, so what this is going to be is it's just one repeat of the tried and true chestnut clapetty pattern
Okay.
on Ravelry, and that'll be in the show notes, and I'll show you
Okay.
the picture in a minute. But I wanted to see what it would look like.
This is gorgeous.
Isn't it pretty?
So
I
is
haven't
this like
blocked this yet.
like a scarf?
It'll be
It'll be like a little
it's going to be an accessory.
an accessory.
Basically.
Oh,
It's going to
okay.
be just a
Just a little pretty
Yeah.
cute little thing there that's going to be gorgeous.
yeah.
Because it already is gorgeous with the color. And
Right.
then just
Right.
I like the openness of it.
Yeah, I
That's
wanted
really
it to be
pretty.
a little drapey.
Yeah.
The thing is that it's a lot of knitting. So I didn't want to do I didn't want to do some big project that would never get finished.
Oh, right,
I
because
just
you wanted to do the store sample.
And I knitted it on size 4
Okay.
needles.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. And then I think when I block it, it'll block out wider,
Yes.
and it'll look better when I
You
go
need to bring that back in a couple
Yeah.
of weeks and show
Yeah,
it to
absolutely.
us blocked. I would love that.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
And this is the pattern. This is downloadable on Ravelry.
Is it free on Ravelry?
Yes, it's
Okay.
free on Ravelry.
Okay, free on Ravelry. That's always good.
It is from nitty.com.
Oh, okay.
It is the Clapetee pattern
Okay.
by, what is her name? Kate Gilbert. And
Nice.
what I did was I just did one little strip. So here's what it looks like in the shawl.
In the shawl. Okay.
Yeah. But what I have is I just have this
as a
strip,
one strip.
yeah, on either side, and then the
Right.
drop in the middle.
And so we could make that as a shawl.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be absolutely gorgeous.
And I think it would be pretty in the hemp.
Yes,
with all the
that's
different
really
colors.
nice. It feels good and it's light,
Yeah.
so it's not going to be too hot.
Yeah.
I really like that.
And I think it'll be really drapey once it's blocked.
Yeah.
And it'll soften up a lot too. Right now
Yes.
it's a little stiff. Not bad.
No, it's not too bad.
Not bad. But
Not
if,
for what you think of like hemp would be. You
Yeah.
know, if people think, oh, hemp, that's just this fibrous, scratchy, ropey
Yeah.
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
this
not.
is not.
It's not just for macrame anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, finished object.
Yay!
Sort of. Almost.
Well, it's finished. Finished.
Yes.
No, it's finished. Finished is. This is what the. I'm going to take this from the Knitmore girls.
Okay. Good.
Finished is when you've got it finished like that.
Yeah.
Finished is when you have blocked it and sewn in the ends.
Great.
And
Okay.
finished is when you post a picture of yourself wearing it on
Okay.
Ravelry.
Okay.
That's what
Cool.
finished is. So you're finished right now.
Yes, I'm
So that's good. So I totally purloined that from the Knitmore girls
Cool. That's
because
neat.
I love talking with them,
Yeah.
or like listening to them.
Yeah.
I haven't for a while, but I don't know why. I need to get back
Yeah.
into the groove of listening to more
Yeah.
knitting podcasts. Because otherwise, other stuff I'm listening to is a little depressing. But anyway, that's all right. Oh, I have to give a shout out to Ravelry
Okay.
because they made a policy that you cannot have any hate groups, any white supremacist groups on Ravelry's pages. And I say yes, that's good. Yeah.
I think that's reasonable. I think online, the one place we can go to have positive support and reinforcement
Right.
and ideas and thoughts is Ravelry.
I agree.
don't think there's a place for it for negativity and hate on
Right.
Ravelry.
I
So
agree.
you know, I know people want to express their opinions. That's not what this is about.
Express your opinions somewhere else. You
Yeah.
don't have to do it on Ravelry. And I
Yeah.
am so glad that they came up with that and they did that. And so,
Yeah.
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 Yay, Ravelry. I'm glad
Yeah.
that I'm a member of that community.
Yeah. And the people who are leaving Ravelry for whatever their personal reasons are, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's
You
fine.
don't have to stay.
Yeah.
That's the way I look at that.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I really am proud of them and happy that they're doing that.
Yeah.
So I do not have any what was that word? Finished objects yet.
Okay.
But I'm working towards it. So I want to show you. Remember the last time I was doing the sweater thing?
Oh yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Nice.
Sweater
Oh my
body is done.
gosh.
I've got one more round of this ribbing,
Cool.
and then I'm going to go ahead and bind it off.
Oh nice.
And then I'll be ready to start the sleeves, pick up the sleeves.
Cute,
So I was so happy, and I really like the way this orange is really keeping it together.
Yeah, the orange
Mm-hmm.
really I don't know, moves it into a whole different sweater.
Yes, it does. And I really like it. So anyway, so I'm working on it.
Cool.
Because I'm working on this because I know you do. We prioritize what we're going to do next, right?
Yeah.
So my goal right now is I've got several things on the needles, and I'll show you some of those other ones too. Well, I'll show you one other one. However, when this sweater is finished, I have my next project.
Yay.
And that is going to be this Campanula lace top. I think y'all can see that. Campanula lace top. And that's the shadow there doesn't really do justice to the picture. This doesn't do justice either, but at least you get a better idea of what it's going to look like when it's finished. So that is that it's got lace panels on the side, and
Pretty.
it's just a pretty like shift. And I'm going to use VJ fibers.
Ooh.
So this is VJ fibers. This is 100% Mugga silk, which we were talking about, the Mugga silk, where they don't kill the caterpillar.
Right.
And they use the silk afterwards. And that's what this is. And this has 547 yards.
Oh, nice.
And that's, quite a bit. So I only had to buy 2 skeins of it. It's a little pricey. But I'm making it for my daughter for her birthday.
Cool.
So I think that she will like it. And I was like, I went through all the different colors.
Yeah.
And so I took pictures of them, and then I sent them to her. Do you like this one? Do you like that one? She said, I like number 2. I said, oh no, I've got like 5 more to show you. So I show her 5 more, and then she's like, I still like number 2. Okay. Well, at least I showed you all the options that you have to do with this.
Well, yeah.
So this is my next project that I can't wait to get on my needles.
Nice. And what size needles are you going to use?
So it calls for, I haven't done my little swatch yet, but it calls for size 4.
Okay.
16-inch long circular needles.
Cool.
And then double pointed needles.
Okay.
So I'm happy this will be in the round.
Yeah.
So,
oh yeah.
I do things that are pieces, but I'd prefer to do things in the round if at all possible. Oh, I agree. This was so exciting.
Yeah.
I found my wonderful wallaby.
Yay.
My wonderful wallaby. It's a great sweater, and it's from Cottage Creations, and you can only get it by writing to them and sending them the money. You can't do it online at all.
Wow.
And so I had this for many years because I had made several sweaters out of it, because it goes from like tiny preemie babies all the way up to big giant football players. So it's got all those different sizes in there. And so that's really pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so I was doing something and looking through somewhere else, and there it fell down on the floor. And I was like, hooray, I found it. Thank you, wonderful wallaby, for deciding to show your face here again.
Yeah.
So now I've got plans to make my older grandson, 2 older grandsons, sweaters in that, because they really like that kind of style of sweater.
Yeah.
So, and it's really pretty cool. It's got a little hood. It's got a little pocket in the in the front.
Nice.
And they have a way that you do that where you don't have to sew it on. You just incorporate it in how you are knitting. And when I get to that, I'll share it with everybody, or show people how I'm doing it.
Okay.
But I can't give away secrets, but I can at least show you how it's done, what it looks like, what I'm doing. And then it's got like just a little placket opening here, and then the hood goes up. And so the hood is knit back and forth, but then at the top, you join it, and you take those stitches and you Kitchener them together.
Nice.
So there's no seam on the top of the thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so I really liked that. So anyway, that was more exciting things. Now, do you have something else to show us? I don't want to hog it all up, because I got a couple of more things.
I'm going to turn my phone off first.
I think I got one more thing, but okay, turn the phone off.
Okay, so
that's good.
I bought this.
I
lost my mind 2 years ago.
2 years ago,
for my birthday and Christmas.
2-year-old UFO.
Oh my God. I got seduced by Craftsy.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I bought.
They are great seducers.
I bought Bristol Ivy's tea leaf cardigan pattern.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find the nice picture of it.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. So this is the tea leaf cardigan, and it was a knit along. So I really,
nice.
I really wanted to do that. And for some reason, I don't know why I didn't get it started. But there were life happened. I think,
right?
Just stuff happened, and it got packed away. So I pulled it out this year, and I decided I would do it, because, after all, I want to knit this sweater and wear it.
Yeah, it's really pretty too. Wait till you see the color.
Yeah, and this was one of the few colors that was left.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I've started. I'm doing a size, I don't know, one of the middle sizes, 228 stitches you cast on.
Oh wow.
So I've cast on the ribbing. This has become my challenge sweater.
Okay.
Because for some reason this yarn, it's Cloudborne Superwash Merino worsted twist.
Okay.
The twist is nice, but for some reason it is fuzzing. It's fuzzing already. I mean, look at this.
Oh, wow. Look at that down there. Okay, I don't know if you all can see that fuzzing. There it is. You see it hanging down there?
It's fuzzy. I don't know why. Anyway, I cast it on 3 or 4 times because it calls for a long tail cast on. Nightmare. Because 228 stitches is a hard
long tail. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's hard to measure that out.
And they do that. Do they do that on purpose? Or, I mean, could you substitute your own cast on, do you think?
Well, it's really funny because Bristol Ivy says I can't do the long tail cast on.
So she wrote a pattern.
She wrote it, and she can't do the long tail cast on. So what she did was she took 2 balls of yarn. Oh no, she took the outside and inside of a wound center pole ball. Okay. Because the yarn comes in skeins, you have to wind it into balls.
Okay.
So she took a skein and pulled from the outside and the inside, and used those 2 strands together, and then knitted on the cast on.
Okay.
So she would, let's see if I can free up my yarn here. She would take one side, and she would do a backwards loop, and then she would knit on.
Oh, so she did a combination.
Yeah, so she did a combination cast on that worked for her.
Okay.
I've tried everything.
Have you tried a knitted on cast on?
I knitted on a cast on. I think that's what I eventually ended up
doing. Okay.
I did 2 strands from 2 separate balls of yarn.
Okay.
I did
you
everything.
Tried all different ways.
Yeah, and I cast on at least 3 or 4 times. And the problem is that the yarn, there's a twist in the yarn that is so squirrely that it untwists at the bottom here. So it untwists at the bottom.
The camera's up.
There we go. Untwists at the bottom. So you get these untwisted places in the yarn at the bottom. Well, that's going to snag.
Yeah.
So
of course it is.
I've been fretting about that. But anyway, I finally said, okay, if I don't quit fretting about it and cast it on and just soldier on, I'll never get it. I'll never get it done.
Right.
So I said, okay, so I'm going to do that. So I got through the ribbing, and I've started the lace pattern.
Okay.
This is the second time I'm going to rip it out.
Oh no, you're going to rip it out.
I'm going to rip it back to the ribbing because I've done 2 repeats. It's an 8-row repeat. I've done the first time I did 16 rows.
Okay.
It doesn't look right. It does not look like the pattern. It looks like chaos. This is chaos. This is chaos.
So do they have any errata?
I can't find any. But it's obvious that it does not look like, let me sort through here because you'll see a close-up. And I don't know why I'm having such trouble with this, but I'm having trouble with it. And I think it's good to know that even expert knitters,
we all have
everybody
trouble
says I'm an expert knitter.
And then you got to do stuff over and over again. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm having a really hard time with it. I'm not going to give up. Whoops, where's the? Okay.
You missed the.
I missed the page, but
right.
Whatever. So you can see here. On this, here's the ribbing, right?
Right.
And then see how this lines up?
Yes.
All those knitted stitches line up. And there are holes and yarn overs and stuff in between.
Right.
That's what it's supposed to look like.
Oh, yeah. No, you don't have that, do you?
I have chaos. I have chaos. I don't know what is going on with it, but I have chaos. So I brought it to the store today, and I got some suggestions. One of which was It's a six stitch repeat.
Uh-huh.
And so one of the suggestions was, okay, it's a 6 stitch repeat. Put markers every six
stitches. Yeah.
Oh, okay. But that doesn't account for the fact that I always have 2 left over at the end. 2 more than I should have. Or is it?
Well, then maybe you need to cast on less.
Well, no, because it doesn't say anything about the transition from the ribbing to the lace pattern. It just goes from the ribbing straight into the lace pattern with no comment about whether or not.
But you're only off 2 stitches.
No, I'm actually off 4.
You're off 4. Okay. So this is my solution.
Okay. Yeah.
At the last end of the ribbing.
Yeah.
Get rid of those 4 stitches.
Knit 2 together. Well, I guess I have to.
Knit 2 together across. Just space it out.
Yeah.
And then see if that works with it.
Yeah.
Because then if that's the correct number of stitches.
Yeah.
Then
somewhere
and then
along
it will
the line,
go.
It'll line up.
So it should line up. But that's what I would do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't always work.
Right.
It's not always the best solution, but if I have too many stitches, I knit them together.
Yeah.
Especially if it's just that few stitches.
Yeah.
I like the idea of I do 6 I'll show you in my next project too. I do, for each repeat, a lot of times I will put in a stitch marker.
Yeah.
So that way I know, okay, this is the end of this pattern repeat.
Yeah.
Now I get to start the new one.
Yeah.
And so then I can follow along.
Yeah.
And that's actually what I had to do with this next project that I'm going to show you.
Okay.
But I would just try both of those things.
Yeah. Now, one thing, I'll try that. One thing I did do, at least this time, after I knit the first 8 rows, which is a whole pattern repeat, I put in a lifeline.
Oh, good.
So, because I didn't do that last time.
Explain a lifeline for people who don't know what lifelines are.
Lifelines. This lifeline is this white string here, and this happens to be number 10 crochet thread because I didn't have any dental floss. A lot of people use unwaxed dental floss.
Yeah.
What you do is once you have a pattern and you've done the whole pattern and you've and everything is good from row 1 to row 8, then you take a thread and a needle and run your thread and the needle right under the stitches, like right here. Can you see that, you guys? Right along under your needle,
right,
as you go along, and you run everything down where it's correct at the end of that first pattern repeat.
Right.
So now you have a lifeline. What that does is it leaves the stitches live on, and so if I ever have to rip back, I can rip back to here to the lifeline, and I have live stitches, and I don't have to worry about knowing about having anything dropped, and I don't have to worry about figuring out where I am because the stitches are live where they need to be to start the pattern over.
Right.
So it's a lace technique that that is well worth the extra little time it's going to take you to run this through.
Just run it through. I learned that the hard way too with lace. You just run it through, and then you can just rip it back to that area. You're not afraid of losing any stitches, and you know exactly where you are because hopefully you mark it on the pattern. You know, okay, lifeline here. Because that's what you need to do. And then you don't have to rip the whole thing out. Then you don't get confused as to where you are and all of that other stuff.
And the nightmare is, of course, if you don't. And we've all done this. Oh yeah. I'm a good knitter. I don't need to put a lifeline in. I know I can find my mistakes.
No, I can't find my mistakes. I've been knitting a long time. Some mistakes I can find.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if you're knitting along on, you know, I can't find my mistakes in lace. Let's put it that way. I can find mistakes in, like, if I drop a stitch. Like on this sweater that I'm making. If I drop a stitch, I know how to find that. If I go back on a row, like if something's not working out, and then I go back on a row and I say, oh, this is what I did. I made 2 stitches out of this one, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, those are that sort of differences there.
Right.
But you can find mistakes.
Yeah.
But especially when you're doing lace, you know.
Oh, and this stuff, this pattern is really interesting because it's it has yarn overs, knit two together, yarn over, knit two together, slip, slip, knit.
Oh, okay.
Yarn over, purl. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, wow. So
but then
there's
there's
different techniques.
Yeah, but then there are 2 rows where you have double yarn overs, and then when you come back, you drop 1 yarn over and knit into the other. I can't remember now, but it's a different lace pattern, and so
you can do it, Jeannie.
And
if you can't, then you can just pull it out and figure out another project to make with it.
Right, exactly.
Or you could just give it to me. I'll take that yarn. I'll find something to do with it.
I like the yarn. I like the yarn. It'll be something, but it may not be this fancy.
Right.
If I can't get this. But
That's all right, though. You can work on it, try it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, see what happens. Try those little tricks and see. And then that way you can do it. Now, one thing that, people will say they don't want a lot of stitch markers in their stuff. But I think whenever you need a stitch marker, put one in.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with having a bunch of stitch markers.
I mean, so what? It looks like a porcupine. Who cares?
Yeah, it doesn't matter because you're getting your stitches, what's where.
Yeah.
And how, how far it is and what section you're supposed to be doing at that time.
Right.
And if you're having trouble with a pattern, then that's a good thing to do.
Yeah.
It's like I had trouble with a pattern.
Yeah.
Are you finished with that?
Yeah,
I'm going to move on.
Yeah, I've had enough.
You've had enough of explaining that one. Okay. So this here, I saw this pattern here.
Yeah.
It's like the knitted pattern. So
pretty.
it's called a Quattro shawl, and we've had it here for the longest time.
Yeah.
And let me turn it around so you can see the back, and you can see that there's all these different color changes that happen because of the nature of the ball of yarn.
Yeah.
So anyway, so it's really pretty cool. I also like the technique of having a built-in collar.
That's gorgeous.
So they've got the built-in collar that goes all the way up and around, and then you increase, and then you knit across, and then you're going to decrease again.
That's
when
really
you get
pretty.
To the other side.
Yeah.
So I really love this, and I thought I really want to make this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I got this yarn, and I really love it because I love greens. And so it's the Ella Ray Rustic Lace Quad, and it's yarn that's made specifically for this, and we had it in all different colors. So I chose the greens. So I've got this way. So I've got some yellow, and then another lighter green, and then a darker green, and then a deep green at the end. Pretty. So you don't have to do anything when you're with changing colors. You just knit, and it will automatically just change on its own in certain area because it's like Quattro.
Yeah.
So 4.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I got that, and I started this back in February.
Okay.
At that wonderful place called Winslow. Then I was like, okay. So then I put it away for a little while, and then I couldn't figure out where I was. And so Janet tried to help me find out where I was, and I just couldn't do it. So I ripped it all out and did it again. So now I did another cardinal sin. See, we all do the sins of knitting, of stopping in the middle of a row. So you're not supposed to do that.
Yeah. But at least you have markers.
At least I have my markers, so I know where I'm at.
Yeah.
So anyway, so this is the pattern now. I'm doing much better with it. Oh, it was down way too low. So I'm doing much better with it, and I have a marker at each of the repeats that I have.
Nice.
And so one of my students was actually making this too. She's doing it in a different color. And I thought, well, I'm going to make this along with her so that I can show her, do it along with her so that I know what's going on, since it's one that I wanted to do.
Great.
So I really am enjoying this.
Yeah. That's how I get so many projects.
Yes.
My students start something, and I want to do it with them. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've done a little bit of this.
Cool.
However, I've been really focusing on my sweater that I want to get done.
Yeah.
So that's what's on my needles at the moment.
Okay, I have one more thing.
Oh, yes. Let's see. What is it? What is it?
I didn't have it with me last week, I don't think.
So I'm going to knit while we talk a little bit.
So these are socks that I started for a class as well. Oops.
Right, because that's what you do is start stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And I only have, like 30 pairs of socks. 35 pairs of socks waiting to be knitted at home. So, all right. So here are my socks, and people keep saying, "God, they look so little." Well, yeah, I have 6.5 feet, so they are little, but they're really really cute. Yeah, and they're very stretchy.
And you like to do toe-up socks,
I
right?
love to do toe-up socks 2 at a time on 1 circular needle or 2 circular needles, magic loop.
Right.
So that's the top of my sock.
Right.
One thing that I'm doing is
It's
I'm
the
doing
toe of her sock.
Yeah, the instep side toe of my sock. This is Deb Barnhill's
That's pretty.
increase, toe increase,
Ah,
so that you don't have
okay.
that seam along the side. You have this little increase along on either side of the center 8 stitches. That's where it is. So on this pair of socks, what I wanted to do is I wanted to reinforce them because I've worn my other socks enough now that I know where I wear my socks out. And so I wanted to reinforce them, so I'm doing that.
Oh,
I'm doing that on the ball of the foot.
Cool idea.
Yeah, because this is where I wear, it'll wear. So this is the ball of my foot down to where it starts to arch.
Right.
And then I'll wait until I get down to the heel, and then I'll reinforce it on the heel again.
Right.
And then when I turn the heel, anyway. So I've been doing that.
Very nice. I love that. Those are pretty colors.
Isn't it pretty? Yeah. Now, one thing about this is, if I remember correctly, so I got this.
Oh, those are nice.
I think. Oh dear, whose is this?
They're sock blanks, I
Yes,
think they're called.
Yes, it's a sock blank.
Yeah, I love sock
But
blanks.
whose is it? Oh, it's Dagmar. Dagmar Bird,
did
of
it.
course.
Yay.
It's Sundance,
Okay.
and it is a double knit sock blank. It's hand dyed fingering sock weight yarn, super rush merino, and nylon.
Ooh, nice.
463 yards,
wow.
Zia wools, and this is a double sock blank, which means that sock blanks come in 2 flavors. They come in singles and doubles. Okay, so what that means is here's the whole blank, and it's just a pre-knitted piece of fabric. In case you guys don't know, pre-knitted piece of fabric that you get undyed, and then you dye it yourself.
Right.
And what it does is it has this kind of cool thing that happens, but the socks aren't going to look like this. I mean, this is what the sock looks like compared to, let's do this one.
Well, this is where you're working down at this end here.
Is it? I'm not sure, but whichever end.
Maybe not. No, this is the other end.
Yeah,
sorry.
I started pulling it from that side.
End.
But see, when you knit this, it's going to be completely different. So the other claim to fame of sock blanks is that Rhinebeck Sheep and Wool Festival, there's somebody who always dyes sock blanks for that.
Oh,
and
specifically for that.
She's fabulous. But she really, I love Dagmar's colors, which is why I bought this, because it's so bright and pretty, and it's my favorite. I want brighter socks in my life. But the woman who dyes for Rhinebeck dyes pictures on the blank. So it's like a piece of art. How would you ever pull it apart to knit it?
Right. That's what I would want. So it doesn't knit up that way.
No, it won't knit up, even though it's a beautiful picture. Right. But it's your it's your souvenir
from Rhinebeck.
Yeah, 2017. Rhinebeck with the goats and the yaks and the field and the pine trees and whatever, but it won't knit up that way. But so now where I was going with the double sock blank as opposed to the single sock blank is that there are the blank was pre-knitted with 2 strands of yarn. So when I go to knit this, the strands of yarn are pretty well matching, which is why my socks match.
I see.
So one strand goes to one sock, one goes to the other, and they're pretty close
to identical.
Yeah, to identical.
Not the fraternal ones.
Right. Yeah. Not as fraternal as if I had started at one end of the sock blank for one sock and the other end for the other. Anyway, So that's why they look fairly more the same than they would have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So double sock blanks, if you want coordinating socks and coordinating colors in each of your sock, double sock blanks are better
than singles.
Yeah.
Singles.
Your OCD won't like singles at all. But anyway, so I'm having fun with that. I'm probably ready to turn the heels, which is why they're
I like turning
they're
heels.
almost ready to go.
I really tried. You taught me how to do the toe up socks.
Yeah.
And I just really don't like doing it that way. I
And
love doing it the other way.
And that's fine.
And the other problem that I have with my socks is I love to make them, but I give them away. So I don't have any of these beautiful socks that I've made.
No.
I'm like, I'm going to have to just start making them for myself.
Yeah.
But I don't have my sock mojo at the moment.
Yeah,
So,
well, it's
it gets when you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But at any rate, I also bought that abracadabra yarn that we were talking about.
Did you? Oh, yeah.
So I bought it in 4 different colors,
Wow.
and I'm going to make mittens for my grandchildren, which
cool.
I'll show you.
Oh, cool.
I'm not going to tell them about this yarn.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm going to do is, I've got a pattern, it's just a little kid pattern, but I'm going to do the cuff and the thumb and the top of the mitten in the abracadabra yarn.
Cool.
And then I found some of the Debbie Bliss yarns in colors that each kid likes. And then I'm going to make the palm and the back of the hand out of that. But I'm not going to tell them that changes. I am so excited about this. I even went and hid the yarn because I didn't want to talk to them about it. So I hid it in a place. I hope I remember. I'm going to have to come back and look at it. It's at the bottom drawer of Grandma's old dresser. Okay. So there we go. That's how I'll remember it. If I forget, I'll come back. Yeah. And rewatch this, and then I'll know where it is. So, anyway, so that's really a lot of fun to do that, and I'm really excited about doing that.
That's cool.
Yeah, cool. I've been like showing everybody this yarn. I'm like, hey, look at this. I just love it. So and that's what I think like dyeing is actually, like dyeing, not moving on to the next realm of our soul's existence, but dyeing and taking colors and putting it on yarn, on blank yarn. Especially when I'm doing the natural dyeing. I've got someone who has a beautiful hibiscus plant, and so we're saving the flowers from there. And I believe I'm going to get a really dark, like viridian green out of it.
Ooh,
almost
nice.
a black green. And so anyway, so I'm going to, when I get enough, I'm going to do that. So I'll be talking about that in a future episode.
Great.
Before I forget, Spinzilla, Tour de Fleece.
Tour de Fleece, yes.
Starts on Saturday. And
we still have time to sign up, right?
Of course you do.
Okay.
You can sign up anytime. There's no fee.
All right.
You just go onto Ravelry, the yarn store at Nob Hill. We have a thread that's up there, and you go ahead and just put in what you're going to be doing and post any pictures if you want to.
All right.
I think we've got 4 or 5 people that have said that they want to come do it.
Yeah.
So I did come up with a goal, and mine is going to be to spin a half hour every day.
Okay.
And then there's 2 days that are like they're going up into the mountains, so they're challenge days. So on those 2 days, I'm going to go ahead and try to do an hour.
Okay, cool.
So that's what I'm going to do. And I'm combining it with my spinning boxes. So I'm going to use that yarn from the spinning boxes and see how much I can get done.
Okay. So we have some targi in. I don't know the status of whether there's another bump coming or what. But the panda top that just came in, there's a whole bump of that.
Okay.
A bump is 22 pounds.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that that's how much it was. 22 pounds of fiber.
Of roving.
That's a bunch. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So that's available for us to spin.
Right. And that's what Teray had said. She's making that available to anybody who wants to spin. Yeah. And then we'll also have that for Spinzilla, too.
Yeah.
Which will be in October.
Right.
So anyway, Saturday, I'm going to try to be here.
Okay.
Probably noonish. Noon to 1-ish.
Okay.
because I have to go do something in the morning, but I'll be here like noon to 1-ish.
Okay.
And then we can go ahead and just spin. I'll be here probably for the rest of the evening,
Okay.
the afternoon. And then Sunday I'm going to come back again.
Yeah.
Because I thought if we could just do a jump start. If you can come, that's great. If you can't, that's okay too.
Yeah.
And
I'll try and get the email out this week.
Yeah, that would be great. It went out in the
newsletter.
In the newsletter.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, because I saw that today.
Okay.
But anyway, and then just come on and join us on Sundays in
July. Yeah.
And so we'll have our nice big send off. The ending party on July 28th,
July
which is
28th.
a Sunday.
Okay.
A Sunday also.
All right.
And then
I'll be dog sitting, but I'll come back in for that.
Okay.
Because they can be out. Great. They can be out in the backyard
for a little while.
For a while.
Course. Yeah. That sounds good. And just bring them with you and make them sit. No, they're not those kind of good doggies. No. Okay.
No. No.
That's all right.
One
Jeannie.
of them is taller than I am. When she stands up.
Yeah, no.
We looked out the kitchen window. I was standing at the kitchen sink, looking out the window, and she stood up beside me and licked the top of my head.
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm not bringing that.
No, don't bring that one in with you. That's okay.
She would, one swipe of her tail would knock over anything.
Everything. Okay.
Yeah. She's a lovely dog, but no.
She's big, so she doesn't know.
She's huge.
So that sounds great. All right. Well, I'll be happy to see you.
Yeah.
And we'll have some kind of a potluck that day.
Yeah, we should do a potluck for
So
sure.
I'm just getting excited about, getting it going. And again, on Ravelry, in the yarn store at Nob Hill group, we've got a thread going there.
Yeah.
Now you can go over. I've got a link to the Ravelry, the one on Ravelry that's for the whole thing. And I have signed us up over there.
Oh, good. I was wondering about that.
I mean, so you can find us if you're looking for us, but I put a link in there to go back to where we're following our thing. Okay. I just thought it would be easier to just have us all follow on the yarn store at Nob Hill.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing there.
Yeah.
And then they have, like, if you're going to be doing pictures or whatever, they do have a tag that they want you to use.
Right. And I'm not good at that stuff, you guys. But
maybe
okay, somebody can.
But we'll figure it out.
Good.
And there's probably somebody that's better at it than I am. So
if you guys know how to do this, please come on Sunday and teach me how to do it.
On Ravelry, that would be great. Because we can get on Ravelry here at the store.
I have a fancy phone now.
Oh, there you go.
Can I use it?
We also have free Wi-Fi here at the store too. So
yeah,
if anybody wants to use that, they're free to do it.
Yeah.
So that's what I had wanted to talk about spinning. I haven't really done much spinning because I've been doing this, but I do have.
Yeah.
That's going to get started on Saturday.
I've been working on finishing up a bat that has taken me a long time to spin.
Ooh, nice.
And I'm done spinning the bat now. I just have to ply it.
You have to ply it.
Yeah. And
So how are you going to do that? What did you decide to do?
I really wanted to double ply it, but it worked out so uneven on my bobbins that I think I'm going to try and chain ply it, but I know I'm not going to like it.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm really bad at chain plying. The other thing I could do...
Well, you want me to chain ply it for you?
Well...
I could do that for you if you wanted me to.
Maybe.
Because I love chain plying, and I think I'm actually pretty good at it. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have thought that.
Yeah, maybe that's a good idea.
But if you want to, I'd be happy to do it.
Okay. Maybe before we start Spinzilla. No, Tour de Fleece.
Well, no, it'll probably... did you want to get that off of your bobbins?
Well, I may have to.
Well, I could do it the first day or two of Tour de Fleece.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll bring it.
Yeah, bring it and see if you want me to do it. I'll do it.
It's either chain ply it or Andean ply.
Oh no, we can't have your hand being cut off of the circulation.
No, and my bobbins, jumbo.
Yeah, they're really big,
6-8 ounce.
But yeah, if I put my mind to it, I guess I could do that. That would be part of my spinning for a half hour every day.
Okay.
Yeah,
thank you.
That would work. I'd be happy to. So that sounds good about the spinning.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to ask you a question, Jeannie.
Okay.
Because we were here I was here at the store on Saturday or Thursday. I don't know. One of these days I was here. And so there was someone that had a pattern and the pattern had finished measurements.
Okay.
But it said that it was included 2 inches of positive ease.
Okay.
So the question was, since it says finished, does that mean that's including the positive ease? Or does that mean that the positive ease will give it 2 more inches? Or, yeah.
No. My understanding is that the finished, if it says the finished measurement includes positive ease, that the garment is, let's say, you're knitting a sweater and it's going to have 2 inches of positive ease.
Right.
That means if you knit a size 46 sweater, finished measurement 46, it's going to actually be 48. So that 2 inches of positive ease should be, from my understanding, that should have already been worked into.
So if
the
it
calculation.
says, so like let's say your bust is 34. And so then it says, well, you could do a 32, or you could do it doesn't give you the 34 as an example. You could do a 32, or you could do a 36. So, and it includes 2 inches of positive ease. So if you do the 36, would that fit you?
Yeah, it's going to be,
loose. It's going to be loose even if you're like 34 and you're knitting a 36.
It's going to, the measurement, it's actually going to be a 38.
That's going to be so the finished measurement does not mean that 36 inches finished measurement, or 36 inches finished measurement. That's not including the ease.
Okay, well, there are two,
because this is what was confusing.
Yeah. Well, there should be 2 listings.
Right, there was only the one.
Okay. For instance, here on this,
does it talk about positive ease on that one?
No, but it talks about because knitted measurements and size.
Right. But it did, so like let's say it's see here it says 36.5. Okay, so that's your bust. Okay. So if it said there was 2 inches of positive ease, would that still be 36.5? Or
no.
Would that be 30?
I think the finished measurement of that would be 38.5.
Even if it says finished measurement.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it was giving the measurements all finished.
Right. This one's funny because it says knitted measurements, not finished measurements.
Right.
But
so this is like confusing. So how do we make this less confusing for people? That's my question, Jeannie.
Well,
talking about ease.
Well, let's see.
Because I understand. Okay, so what my understanding of ease is that you can have positive ease, which means that you have more room.
Right.
Or you could have negative ease, which means that you've got less room.
Right.
So a negative ease would be like the ribbing around the top of a sock, or the ribbing around, a sock would be negative ease because it pulls in.
Yeah. And
so it'll hug you better. Right. That's what negative ease is. Or that's what negative ease is.
Yeah. If you want a tight sweater, you want to knit it with negative ease.
With negative ease, because it'll pull it tighter.
Right.
So what you're talking about with positive ease is it's going to make it bigger.
Right.
So if you're going to be doing a sweater, so you don't want it to be skin tight.
Right.
So it would be positive ease, 2 inches of positive ease, which means that it would be more relaxed.
Right.
It would not be real tight fitting.
Right.
On you.
It's not going to hug your form. It's not going to be form fitting.
Right.
It's going to be loose fitting. Yeah.
Okay. So if I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, how to choose my pattern size for me.
Yeah.
So if I do my bust and it's 36, but if I did my bust and it was 36, then would I knit it to the 36, or would I knit it to a smaller size? Because I don't want it to be baggy. See, well, I prefer things baggy, so I know what I would do.
Yeah.
But other people don't always want to have something really baggy.
I think 2 inches is not that much.
It's not that much.
2 inches is enough so that, like on this shirt, you can see right here that this does not actually fit up into my
Armpit.
armpit. Yeah,
Right.
and it doesn't fit
Onto your
snugly.
bust. Snugly, right.
So that's probably an inch ease.
Oh, that's about an inch ease. Okay.
I'm guessing, but if I had to measure it, I would guess that this is an inch of ease.
Okay.
It's not skin tight, so
Right.
so that's so 2 inches of ease is going to be a little less fitted than this, which for
Okay.
me is fine.
Yeah, no, I don't have a problem with that
And
either. But
It
some
means that
people
you can
don't
move
like
in it, right?
So okay, so I'm back to my thing. So my
Right.
thing, it says 36 inches positive ease, 2 inches of positive ease. So do I do that one? And it's going to be so let's say then I'm knitting it and I go to measure it. Is it going to be 36 inches or is it going to be 38
It's
inches?
going to be 38. So
even if it says finished measurement.
Right. Because
Okay.
because the note says it includes the 2 inches of
2
ease.
inches of ease.
So the finished 36 size is going to be 38.
It's going to be 38. Okay.
Yeah. So the finished 36 size will include the 2 inches of positive ease, which is going to make it 38.
Okay. So if I really don't want to do that, I would then go to the 34.
Right.
And then it would come out to 36.
Yeah. And
just
realize
that's not what the decision was that they came up with.
Yeah.
They decided that finished meant that it was actually 36, and that included the 2 inches of ease.
No, probably not.
Okay.
Probably not.
Okay.
She'll probably come back and say it's too big.
Okay. If she knitted at the 36. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. For what she wants.
For what she wants. Yeah.
But the thing about going down in size is you better be really clear about how tightly fitted you want this, because part of it is, okay, I want it to fit skin tight. Well, can you get your arms
then
in
can
it?
you move it? Can you move in it?
Can you put it on and get it over your head and over your shoulders?
Right.
Or can you get your arm into it and then stick your arm out the sleeve? I mean, there's a lot of reason to have some ease. And
I see.
2 inches is not
that much.
Right, because your arms are, easily 2 inches thick. So you need that hole to get through. You need that breadth across your chest and shoulders.
So stay with the 36, and you're gonna it's not gonna be swimming on you.
Right.
Because that's what she was worried about. That
no,
if
I don't
she
think it would be.
Did the 36 and it was actually a 38, that it would be way too big for her.
Well, and then it depends on body type. Is she narrow-shouldered?
That's true, too.
Is she broad-shouldered?
Right. Well, she has a real tiny waist.
Tiny waist.
Tiny hip.
Tiny
so
hips,
when
okay.
So the hips are smaller than the bust, obviously. They usually are, except in my case when it's a little bit different. But that's okay. So that's why you measure for yourself, right?
Exactly.
Exactly. But so she came down. She was like, so okay here, and then she went down here.
Okay.
So one of the other thoughts was that she could go ahead and decrease, like do gradually decrease to get a smaller number,
right?
So that when she's working around, it will be more fitted,
right?
And we thought it would be better to do them on either side, but not to do them like all in a row,
right?
But to do about 3 more rows or 4 more rows, then do another couple, and then do another 4 more rows, and decrease it so that you would have less stitches.
Yeah. Now in the schematic, what you could look at is, first of all, you need to know in the schematic, some schematics, even though the finished product doesn't really look like that, a schematic will be a straight line.
Let me see if we've got the schematic.
Yeah.
So here's this schematic.
Yeah. Okay. For instance, here's this schematic, and I'm going to put it over here because we don't want to give away the pattern.
Pattern, right?
But for instance, here's a fold under the arm, and that's the lace panel, basically.
Right.
But let's say that this was a long tunic. Without this, it's just going to be a straight line, okay? Sometimes, even though the schematic is drawn this way, it's not going to be a straight line. It's going to curve in a little bit and then come back out. And more than that, what you really want to know is, if you narrow it in towards the waist, can you still get your shoulders through? You've got to be aware of that, because if it's a pullover, you've got to be able to get your shoulders through the narrowest part of the sweater in order to pull it over, pull it over your body.
Right.
So those are considerations, and I don't know if you haven't been a sewer, or you haven't,
not me,
or if you don't know much about garment construction in general, although knitting is different, because it's so much more fluid than a woven piece of fabric that does not give. Knitting gives, and that's why you can knit a sweater with negative ease and expect it to be okay.
Okay, right. Okay.
But you got to be really careful when you're going to manipulate a pattern that you're not real sure of, or if you don't know exactly what your body is going to do in it.
Right.
And if you're starting out with something like, I want to adjust this pattern, well, it may be just trial and error.
Right. And so, my first thought was just to do the size that was closest to your bust.
Yeah.
And then just go ahead and take it from there.
Yeah.
And see
and hope
how
it works.
It was going to be going.
Yeah. And with a pullover sweater, at least you can, is it top down?
Yes, it was top down.
Okay, so you can keep trying it on.
Right.
At least that's what you need to keep doing, is trying it on.
Right, try it on.
Because that's going to determine how much you can decrease.
Right.
Towards the bottom of the sweater.
Right.
Yeah. Keeping in mind, you still have to get over the broadest part of your body, which is generally your shoulders.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you. I knew that if I talked with you about it, I'd get a little bit of better understanding of what it is.
Yeah. Well, and every pattern is different. Every single pattern is different. And sometimes you'll have a pattern that says it has ease and it doesn't.
And it doesn't have ease.
And
I'm binding on.
Yay! Oh, yay! Good. Well, goody. That's cool. So it just depends. It just depends on how adventurous you want to be, and it depends on what you want it to look like. And a lot of times you have to try and adjust the pattern and just try it
and see what happens.
And then the other thing to know is, okay, it doesn't fit right. All right. What are you going to do? Well, you can take in the sides. If it's not in the round, well, even if it is in the round, you can take in the sides. You can run a seam up the sides, and take in some stitches.
Right.
But the other thing is, it's only yarn. You can pull it out and do it over.
Again.
And take really good notes on what you didn't do.
Right.
Or what you
did or what you didn't like, and where you would have changed it.
And then you've got a place to start from.
Right. Exactly.
And one of the old saws is always that you'll hear people say over and over is, take a sweater you like and measure it.
Yes.
And then compare it to the schematic of what you want to knit.
Right.
And then you'll find out real quick. And if the sweater you like is bigger than, like, if the sweater you like says it's a 34, but it's a real flowy, drapey sweater, there's a lot of ease in that.
A lot of ease in that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that kind of gives you some ideas.
Okay.
And I'd measure more than one sweater.
Yeah. And because some of them you like fitting you better than others.
Right.
And you have different reasons for it.
Right.
You're not going to really wear a big old bulky sweater into work. You're going to wear maybe a little shell top into work,
Yeah.
So it just depends on what you're going to be doing with it.
Right.
The other thing that none of us like to hear is gauge.
Yes.
So
Gauge.
you need to do a swatch.
You have to.
I don't see any other way really in doing it unless, like for instance, I've knitted so many socks out of opal yarn on size 2 needles that I know that I'm going to get what I need to with that. Because I've done 40 pairs of them on that. So if you've done something where you use the same size needle and you like the result that you've gotten, and you know that yarn you can do with, you'll get the right gauge, then you don't have to do a swatch.
And if you're a consistent knitter, I have a friend who's a machine. She is so consistent. Every stitch is like every other one.
Right.
She has the same rhythm. She has the same tension. She has that's not me. I'm an emotional knitter. Well, I never knit 2 rows at the same tension ever.
I have a little bit better control with my tension at that point, but the other thing is the yarn too. Some yarns are very very precise, and other yarns are not. They might be a little thinner in one spot or thicker in another. So you have that you're going to be working with. Also, if you have like a tweeds knit up differently than let's say alpaca does. So it just depends on that. The other thing with the swatch is you might think, well, it's not going to really make that much difference, and in a scarf, I don't think it does.
No.
In a hat, it might.
Yeah. A hat's a little more touchy.
But you can easily fix a hat.
Yeah.
As you're knitting. So if you're not getting the correct gauge, you can, take some stitches away or add some stitches on.
Or go down in needle size.
That's another thing that you can do
once the ribbing is done.
Right. And then you'll have some idea of what's going on. But the way that I do my swatches are I knit a garter stitch border around the inside of the swatch.
Yeah.
So I'll start off and I'll do like 6 rows of garter stitch, and then I'll go back and forth. But I'll leave the last 3 on each end. I'll leave in garter stitch.
Yeah.
And then I finish off. This is when I technically do it. I finish off with a garter stitch on the top.
Yeah.
Then I'll block it. Or most of the time I don't block it, but technically that's what you should do, is block it first and then do your measurements.
Right.
And so, but oftentimes I'm way too excited to get started.
Yeah.
That's why one of the things that I have started doing is in between these projects that I'm doing, I'll take the yarn, like this new VJ yarn that I have, I'm going to roll it up and then I'm going to cast on and try to get the swatch while I'm also working on another project.
Yeah.
And then that way, when I'm ready to start this project, I'll know what my gauge is.
That's cool.
And I'll know what needle size to use.
That's cool.
So that's one way that you can try to sort of beat that by just, playing with it before, a project or two before you're going to actually use it.
Yeah, that wouldn't help me at all. I mean, my gauge won't be the same when I go back to,
okay.
Yours will be the same, and that's great.
Yes.
But mine won't be.
Yours won't be.
And the other horrifying thing I heard lately about gauge is you really aren't supposed to wash it, block it, and lay it flat to dry. You're supposed to hang it up and let it dry.
Oh, and let it dry from there.
Because if you're making a sweater, you're not going to be lying on a flat surface in your sweater. Damn it.
So, well, maybe I will. Maybe that's how I'm going to wear
going to be lying in your
now.
drawer.
I'm just going to be lounging.
Yes, lounging in your sweater. But anyway, so in theory, you're supposed to hang the swatch up and let it dry that way.
Let it drip dry that way.
Pooh.
But that's not how I'm going to block a sweater. Well, sometimes I block sweaters that way.
You can block your You can block your swatch, but then once it's dry, you need to hang it up for a little while.
Oh, hang it up for a little while.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would think that would be something you...
So you don't hang it up wet?
No, well...
Well, you could, but...
I don't know. I don't think that part was explained very well.
Oh, okay.
If I can remember where I heard this, I'll look it up and we can
great. Yeah.
revisit. But yeah, I just... Anyway, so you're supposed to hang it up because your sweater's going to be hanging on your body.
Okay.
So your gauge...
Yes, that's true.
Oh, I know who it was. It was Christy Glass. She has a podcast on YouTube.
Okay.
Christy Glass Knits, I think. Anyway, Christy Glass, she's a hoot. She does the Show Me Your Rhinebeck Sweater video every year at Rhinebeck. Fabulous.
Right. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, she interviewed Patty Lyons a while back, and Patty Lyons was explaining about you don't want, you're not going to lie flat on a table in your sweater, so why would you block it and measure the gauge from that? You need to hang it up and let it be that way, because that's going to give you a more accurate gauge.
All right.
For your sweater.
So I understand that, but now, do pattern writers do that?
I have no idea.
So how are they getting their gauge?
Well, now,
because if they're getting their gauge by lying it flat, then that's going to be different than if they got their gauge with it after hanging it for a while.
I think on my sweater, and see, I've blocked it out because I'm so frustrated. But I think on my Bristol Ivory sweater, she mentions that.
Oh, okay.
That you need to, like you hold your gauges, your swatches up. But what you're doing with her when you knit gauge swatches for this sweater, you're also knitting the pocket linings.
Oh, I see. That's nice. That's another good way to do it too.
Sure.
Is to try it on a sleeve. First, or to try it on something like that where it's not going to be the whole big thing.
Right. Yarn Harlot does gauge. Knits for gauge on sleeves, because at least you've got something done.
Right,
and you don't have to rip out a whole sweater.
Have to rip out a whole sweater. Right, exactly.
I think that's very
because it
smart.
can really make a difference. If you're off 2 stitches, that's going to translate into a much bigger sweater,
right?
Or a much tighter sweater if you're off the other
Yeah,
way.
And it can really
it sort of
especially
adds
if
up.
you have to have something that fits. Properly, not necessarily tight or loose or whatever.
Right.
But if you need it to fit, you've got to know what you're aiming for, or why do it.
Right. Now the other thing about the gauge is the row gauge. I seldom count the row gauge because I figure I can either make it bigger or shorter or longer.
Yeah, I find that my row gauge is generally farther off than my stitch gauge.
Yes, it is.
I don't know
my
why.
row gauge is really bad.
I would like somebody to talk about that or show me that, and maybe Patty Lyons does that kind of thing, or maybe we can ask Galina when she comes.
Oh, that's a nice
Galina
idea.
Kamilova is going to come to the yarn store after Taos.
Nice.
This fall. So
we're going to be having a lot going on that week because that's Spinzilla week.
Oh my God,
too.
That's such a crazy week. But it always is. It's always Spinzilla, and I'm in Taos for
You'll
a week.
go up there for a long time.
Yeah. But that's my.
I've only been to one.
Vacation.
I might go again. I don't know.
You should go
if I can get somebody to drive me up there.
I bet you can find somebody.
Probably.
Yeah.
And then I got to leave my money at home. Or I'll
Really?
be out of it. I won't have any more money. I'll have to just take some cash.
Yes.
And then say, when this cash is gone, you cannot go to an ATM. You cannot go get any more. You cannot go ahead and put it on this other card.
Yeah.
It's over.
No more $50 lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well,
okay.
I have to say, talking about expenses, I did pretty well at the Fiber Arts Fiesta this year.
Yes, that's what you said.
Yeah, I my claim to fame used to be that I'd spend a paycheck.
Okay.
But and
I've done
paycheck,
that.
Paycheck at Fiber Arts, paycheck at Taos.
Yeah.
But paycheck at Estes Park. I bought 3 or 4 fleeces at Estes Park one time. Oh my God, that was so crazy. I had to. The people I went with took their clothing out of suitcases so I could put my fleece in the suitcases, and it got shipped back, and then I took their clothing home in my carry-ons. It was crazy. That was a crazy trip. It was fun though. Anyway, but I just lost my mind. But I'm better now. I'm not quite as obsessive, and I have less room.
You've got a good 401k going.
Oh yeah, I have I have
So,
more than a lifetime's worth of yarn.
Yeah,
and
so there you go.
Yeah. So but I and things this year didn't hit me the way they do if something hits me right and screams my name, I buy it.
Right.
And just there wasn't a whole lot that screamed my name
that
this
screamed your
year.
name. That's good.
Yeah, I bought some really nifty things, but I certainly did not try to buy things just to buy things.
Right.
And I used to do that. So I don't do that anymore.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Well, we're over the hour mark.
Uh-oh.
I hope YouTube lets us put it up. I think they do.
Oh, yeah.
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 So anyway, I'm getting better at putting it up on YouTube, and I'm also going to play around with, maybe I'll be able to play around with filters and things like that. But I don't know. Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, but it's really been lovely spending this time with you,
Yeah,
Jeannie.
it's been fun.
And it's really been lovely spending time with you all too. And I hope that you leave some comments on Ravelry. We have a group there called Yarning Around with Chris and Kathy. And I will post this up there too. And so you can see it. And please leave any feedback if you have any questions. If there's something about a technique that you're interested in, hit us up and we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
We might not come up with the right answer, but no, we'll come up with pretty much the right answer. But we may not get to it the same way that other people do. So anyway, it's been very pleasant.
Yeah.
I look forward to spinning on Saturday.
Yes. Oh, come on, you guys. Come on
on and spin. It'll be so much fun. You can also order, I'm going to order the Tour de France on my Hulu account. You get a week's free.
Ooh.
So I figured I'll start it like on the 5th.
Yeah.
And then I'll get that 1 week, and then I'll be able to watch TV throughout the rest of the year just on my Hulu account.
Wow.
But you can always, get rid of it after the first month.
Yeah.
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 So that's how I'm going to do it.
Cool.
Anyway, so that'll be good.
Okay. See
All
you
right,
in,
Jeannie.
what, a couple weeks?
Couple of weeks.
Okay.
All right. Everybody have a great time.
Bye,
Enjoy
everybody.
yourselves. Bye-bye.